Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Right now at 8 o'clock, Border Patrol in Raleigh. Agents are in the capital city today after more than 130 arrests in Charlotte over the weekend. How people here and across the state are responding.
It's a cold start out there. Temperatures are still in the 30s in many places, but the warmth is just to our west. It'll start to push in. I'll show you when our highs return to the 70s.
A Durham mom charged. A mother's due in court today after a 4-year-old accidentally shoots himself. Questions that remain this morning after the latest shooting involving an unsecured weapon. Thank you so much for joining us here in the 8 o'clock hour. We always appreciate your time. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, the cold start certainly not stopping the golfers this morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garter talks about our cool, crisp temperatures this morning. But Elizabeth, some golfers out there.
They're out there. They don't seem to mind it. There are plenty of people out wandering around in front of the resort there at Pinehurst. It is sunny, and we will have a nice warm up. I mean, this afternoon it's going to feel pretty comfortable. Right now, officially, it's 39 at RDU. We don't have any wind to deal with, which is nice. It is still 32 in South Hill and 30 in Roxborough, but we're warming up elsewhere. 34 in Goldsboro, 39 now in Southern Pines. Hour by hour, we'll hit mid 60s for later on this afternoon. This evening, we'll see skies beginning to cloud up as we have some rain in our forecast starting around midnight. That will taper off early tomorrow morning, but coming up, we'll talk about whether or not that could still affect your morning commute. Countdown is on. Thanksgiving 9 days away. We'll walk through some of the trends for rain and temperatures. And of course, we'll talk more about our return to spring-like warmth.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're going to start at that southern loop of the Beltline. Here's what you're looking at, the bumper-to-bumper traffic. And this is really the usual morning congestion that we see. But as jammed up as that looks, look at this, just a 4-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline that's around Lake Wheel Road, Gorman Street, and the like. Right now, if you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, no delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline. So that's good news there. If you're coming into Raleigh on I-40 eastbound, you can see what's happening there. Quite a bit of congestion there on those eastbound lanes coming in to the Raleigh and Wake County area. So as we widen out the big picture, here's what you're looking at. That's just a 7-minute delay if you're coming in from Durham or all points west. The other troubled spot, our friends in Wake Forest, are looking at a 10-minute delay coming in on US 1 south. We're also seeing a little bit of a slowdown on US 1 northbound around Highway 55. Right now, you're looking at a 4-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. A developing story we are following this morning. Immigration officials are expected to be in Raleigh today after more than 100 arrests in Charlotte over the weekend. WRAL's Laura Levine is live in downtown Raleigh this morning. And Laura, city officials preparing people on what to expect today.
They are. Good morning, Michelle. So Custom and Border Protection, they are now having their sights set on the city of Raleigh, of course, after you just mentioned operations in Charlotte where more than 133 people were detained. Now, immigration advocacy groups, they say that families are now trying to prepare their children for the potential of parents not returning home from work today and businesses deciding whether or not to open their doors. So take a look at some of this video, some of the images that came out of Charlotte over the weekend. Mayor Janet Cowell said that federal agents have not informed Raleigh officials who they're targeting or when they expect to complete their operations here.
First off, we didn't ask for this presence. We feel like the Raleigh, police, are doing a great job here locally, and in fact, crime's down. 16% property crime reduction, year over year. Violent crimes down as well. So the police will be doing their normal jobs.
And the mayor says RPD is not working with the federal immigration agents who are out here right now. They say that they are preparing for potential protests to pop up across the city. Meanwhile, we did receive this statement from the North Carolina Republican Party stating President Trump promised voters his administration would remove violent illegal criminals from our country, and he is following through and enforcing the law. The Department of Homeland Security said of the people who were detained and arrested in Charlotte over the weekend, 44 had violent criminal records. Of course, we're going to continue to follow the operations here in our city. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
As immigration operations move to Raleigh, we're getting new video and reaction from the arrests made in Charlotte. New video from over the weekend shows Border Patrol agents questioning landscapers in the front yard of a Charlotte home. Now, the landscapers were decorating a Christmas tree when agents approached them. The agents left shortly after being confronted by that homeowner. At least 130 people have been arrested in Charlotte in recent days, as Nora just mentioned. The mayor of Charlotte responding to the operations with a message for President Trump.
The city of Charlotte is one where we believe in fairness and dignity, and where we are one of the largest cities in the country, and that we work really hard to do it right. And what I hope would be is that if I would talk to the president, I'd say to him, look at our city, look at our people, and make sure that he has the understanding that all of you and I have.
Well, some of those arrests were for charges including DUI, aggravated assault, and shoplifting. The aggressive nature of the operations prompting protests and businesses to close.
Well, we alerted you about the situation as soon as we learned about it. You can make sure you're not missing out on important updates by downloading the WRAL News app for free. And we will, of course, continue to follow this story throughout the day. Look for live reports and coverage from our evening news team starting at 4. And we're following some breaking news this morning. If you're trying to access some sites and it's not working, it's probably caused by a technical outage at Cloudflare. It's causing parts of the web to stop working. The software helps power online experiences. This photo here shows the error message that many sites like X, ChatGPT, and Gemini are experiencing. The Raleigh Wake 911 incident website also going in and out. Ken, I know you use that website a lot.
And that was a message that was coming up whenever I logged onto that website this morning, but it's back up and running now. Well, happening today, Wake County school leaders deciding on millions of dollars worth of changes to the budget. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey live outside the Wake County school headquarters there in Cary. And Kelsey, it looks like a lack of a state budget is affecting teacher raises in this new budget.
Yes, Ken, we've been staying on top of what's going on with this budget for several months now. Tonight, school leaders will be meeting here at the board headquarters in Cary to make their final decision. The district can save more than $13 million with this new budget, but increased costs for next school year equal about the same amount, so it all levels out. This budget does not make any sweeping changes. It's an effort to maintain what the district already has in place. That means you shouldn't notice any differences in what's happening in your child's school. Some money will be used for utility costs and academic support. One thing to note that's not included are teacher raises. That's because the district was planning on using state funds to cover the cost, and state lawmakers have not passed a budget yet. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on when school leaders make their final vote tonight. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
One more note about Wake school leaders. They're also considering a new reassignment plan that could affect your child. A vote for the plan is set for tonight, and students at 15 schools would move to new schools under the proposal. The changes are meant to fill up a new school next year and reduce overcrowding at other schools. You can find it if you're affected, and follow our coverage of the vote at the education section of WRAL.com.
A 4-year-old boy is in the hospital this morning after he accidentally shot himself. This happened in Durham yesterday morning, and now the mother is facing charges. WRAL's Ali Calabar live outside the Durham courthouse this morning ahead of her first court appearance today. And Ali, we're trying to get an update on the boy's condition this morning.
And Michelle, we're learning from court documents that the 4-year-old used a 10 millimeter pistol. And the gun owner, the boy's mother, is expected to go in front of a judge at this courthouse today facing several charges. Asante Moore is facing charges of negligent child abuse and permitting a child use of a firearm. This video shows officers investigating that home on Greenbrier Road for more than 10 hours. That's where police say Moore's 4-year-old son shot himself with an unsecured gun around 7:30 yesterday morning. This is the second tragedy like this in Durham in the last 2 weeks. Neighbors say they're heartbroken, hoping he recovers.
I pray for this child that I really hope he's going to recover, and pray for the family.
And we're working to find out the condition of that 4-year-old. As for more, she's expected to be in court at 8:45. WRAL will be there. Reporting live in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
I want to give you this live look at the Capitol this morning, where a highly anticipated vote on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files is expected today. President Trump said he would sign the bill if it reaches his desk. The president previously was critical of releasing the documents. He still claims the push from lawmakers is a, quote, Democratic hoax. In a Truth Social post late Sunday night, Trump told Republicans to vote in favor of the bill. Some lawmakers are raising concerns. A recent order from Trump to examine Epstein's connections to high-profile figures could slow down the release. Epstein survivors are also expected to be on Capitol Hill today to urge lawmakers to support that bill.
Heading to prison, the man charged in the death of a girl at the 2022 Raleigh Christmas Parade has begun his sentence. His message to the family during a very emotional day in court.
And fire warning, where you park your car could put it at risk of going up in flames during dry conditions. You see what happened right there.
And we're looking at a gorgeous start this morning with plenty of sunshine, but expect the clouds to thicken up this afternoon. And we have some rain in our forecast tonight that could linger into the morning commute tomorrow. I'll walk you through it coming up. It's 8:13. It's a pretty start out here on the patio this morning. You can see the gardens behind me looking gorgeous. Still plenty of color out here to see, but definitely feeling chilly this morning. It's 32 in Roxborough, 39 in Holly Springs, 40 in Fayetteville, 33 in Cary. Temperatures have begun to creep up now that we're in the 8 o'clock hour, and they'll actually warm up fast. It might be a little chilly right now for a bike ride, but by the afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock, we climb up into the mid-60s. Of course, we'll cool off pretty quickly, too. If you're planning to exercise this evening, temperatures will drop into the mid-50s. Coming up, we're going to talk more about what we're expecting tonight with a chance for rain and Saturday, too.
Elizabeth, happening now. We're staying on top of that situation on that southern loop of the Beltline. Really, the situation is the usual morning congestion that we see on that southern loop of the Beltline. We're talking about Lake Wheeler Road, Gorman Street, and those areas. Right now, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay because as jammed up as that looks, traffic is still moving nicely. Right now, if you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, no delays right now between the Highway 36 and the Beltline at this hour.
All right, thank you, Ken. The man who was behind the wheel during a crash that killed an 11-year-old girl during the 2022 Raleigh Christmas Parade will be in jail for at least 8 months. Landon Glass was sentenced yesterday after pleading guilty in the crash that killed Haley Brooks. Glass lost control of his pickup truck during the parade, hitting and killing Haley. Yesterday was the first time we've heard from Glass about what happened.
I know there are no words I can say to ever truly tell you how sorry I am. I never had any intentions to hurt anyone. If I would have known there was even a 1% chance that something was going to happen, I never would have showed up that day.
I do not believe you intentionally took Haley's life that day, but I do believe you selfishly disobeyed the law, and Haley's life and liberty was taken from her as a result.
A very emotional day. Glass is expected to be released in early August.
Happening today, Raleigh City leaders are expected to discuss a backup plan in the event of a 911 outage. Raleigh Wake Emergency Communications asking the City Council to approve an agreement with the Charlotte 911 area. The agreement would allow the City of Charlotte to process 911 calls if Raleigh services were to go down. City Council has 2 work sessions today, one beginning at 11:30, the other one 1 o'clock this afternoon. A food bank in our area hosting a distribution event today. The Second Harvest Food Bank of Southeast North Carolina will be giving out food at Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church in Fayetteville. The event is free and open to the public. It's a first-come, first-served basis. The event will start around 9 o'clock this morning. It will run until all the food is handed out.
Ago that Durham Mayor Leo Williams was on MS Now talking a little bit about the response from Border Patrol here in North Carolina and now here in the Triangle area. I want you to listen to another segment of what he was talking about in regards to what he thinks needs to happen in response to Border Patrol here in our state.
And that is our unfortunate reality, and this is why we must, as best as possible, lean on the legal system. The courts are where we are going to have our due process. I think communication is definitely going to be key in how we prepare for what's coming.
Now, I did message him a little bit ago asking specifically, is Border Patrol coming to Durham as well? Haven't heard back just yet, likely busy after being on the show there. And we're also trying to see if other lawmakers, possibly who feel differently in comparison to him, have something to say on any of the morning networks, including Fox News. We'll report that here on WRAL News as soon as we have that.
So NC by Train just broke a new ridership record. Last month, the passenger rail service experienced its single highest ridership month in 35 years of service. NC by Train carried more than 74,000 passengers, an almost 10% increase compared to last October. This is in part thanks to special trains and stops to iconic North Carolina events like the North Carolina State Fair. Met several people who took the train to the State Fair this year. Well, do you ever notice how you can smell and hear things differently on a cold morning? There's a reason for that. Meteorologist Chris Michaels showing us why in today's Ask the Meteorologist. Hey, Chris.
Hey there, Ken. Yeah, it's one of those calming things sometimes when you step outside and you might smell a fireplace nearby, or you might even hear a train and think, I don't live by trains. But let's talk about why that's the case. So at night, especially on these clear and calm nights, temperatures at the surface drop really quickly. Like this morning, we're in the 30s. However, the air just above the surface this morning is in the 50s, and that warm air almost acts like a trap. So let's just say that somewhere in your neighborhood, somebody's got a fireplace going and the smoke is rising. Well, that warm air, it takes that smoke, and instead of allowing it to go back up into space, traps it at the surface. So again, that's why you may smell some things or hear some things on these really cold, calm nights and mornings. Now, that temperature inversion where there's the warmth above the cold, it also plays a role into winter precipitation like sleet and freezing rain. And with that in mind, we've got our winter weather outlook that's coming out 6 p.m. on Monday on WRAL. And also at some point soon, a discussion between Elizabeth and I is going to be on YouTube. Look for that on our YouTube channel by liking and subscribing.
Always so interesting. Thanks, Chris. Well, people in the Triangle urged to be careful as we deal with dry conditions, which authorities worry could lead to more scenes like this in Raleigh. Video from over the weekend shows a car engulfed in flames there. Investigators believe leaves under the car may have caught fire. They're telling people to avoid parking on top of leaves if you can, especially during dry spells. They say the culprit is often the catalytic converter. Fire authorities are also encouraging people to practice other methods of fire safety heading into the holidays. Well, this weekend, join WRAL for the 81st Raleigh Christmas Parade from the heart of downtown Raleigh. It's a celebration you don't want to miss. The WRAL live coverage begins Saturday morning at 9 on TV and wherever you stream WRAL. It is always such a fun morning out there. I'll be there. Elizabeth will be there. Ken, Renee, and Chris. It's going to be such a fun morning. All right, speaking of Elizabeth, let's get outside to meet her. She's on the WRAL weather patio this morning. Jackets on right now, Elizabeth. It's cool out there.
Yeah, it's chilly this morning. Our temperatures, of course, dropped all the way down to freezing in many places. So cool snap with us through today. And then after that, temperatures really start to warm up tomorrow. Our highs are back into the 70s again. Watching a rain chance for the Christmas parade. We could see some light showers in the morning, maybe a few thunderstorms in the afternoon. But it's still far enough out that we're just kind of watching to see how that timing may work out. It's pretty in the gardens right behind me. We do have some rain in our forecast from tonight. You can see our next weather maker back out to the west, and we'll throw Futurecast on, and even at 5 o'clock this evening we're nice and clear. We may see some increasing clouds, but the rain doesn't arrive until closer to midnight in our north and western counties. By 2 a.m. it's drifted down to the Triangle, and then it continues to sink southward through the morning. At 6 a.m. there may be a few isolated showers remaining. By 8 o'clock it's totally gone, and we're beginning to see some clearing, but it's not likely to be heavy during the morning commute. As a matter of fact, it may taper off fairly quickly, but it could mean that the streets are wet for tomorrow, and that could have some impact on your morning commute. Our next rain chance comes on Saturday. We may see some early morning showers and some afternoon thunderstorms. It's also going to be very warm on Saturday. Here's a look at Saturday on Futurecast. At 5 o'clock on Friday, there could be a few isolated showers. Friday may be a bit more cloudy. And then we could see this wave that comes in around 9 or 10 o'clock on Friday night. And then it starts to fill in farther to the south once we get closer to, say, midnight or so. And then this is a look at the bigger picture. This is 7 p.m. on Friday. we start to see some of that rain pushing in. It looks like it's fairly light in the morning Saturday, but then again, later in the afternoon, there could be a chance of some scattered thunderstorms. So warm parade. Parade start time temperatures will be in the mid-60s. We'll be watching those rain chances, and we'll be updating that as it gets closer. And it looks like not a lot of rain, even with Saturday and tonight's rain. We're still looking at a half an inch or less. 77 degrees for Saturday for the Christmas parade. Maybe one of the warmest that we've seen. Ken?
That takes me right back to the Virgin Islands, to be honest with you, in terms of the holidays. So let's start with that southern loop of the Beltline. Boy, congestion will beginning to ease up on that southern loop of the Beltline as you take a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Right now, you're just looking at a 2-minute delay. If you're coming in from Garner-Johnston County, you're just looking at no delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline. We are seeing a little bit of congestion on I-40 eastbound right now around the I-540 interchange and Aviation Parkway, as you just saw there. So right now, you're looking at a 9-minute delay if you're coming in on from All Points West and I-40 East. The real trouble spot, look at this, I-87. This actually just popped up on me because I hadn't taken a look at it in about 10 minutes. A 43-minute delay. Let me figure out what's going on there, and I'll let you know coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Ken. Preparing for Thanksgiving, the time to get your kitchen ready is now. 5 on Your Side shares an easy way to clean your oven safely. And knowing your rights, we hear from an immigration attorney about what people should be aware of.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Ken Smith tracking some backups on I-87 southbound, Ken.
Yeah, if you were with us about 5-6 minutes ago, I told you about a situation where I-87, the delay was like 43 minutes. So here's why. We've got 2 lanes blocked on Highway 87, 64, those southbound lanes, because of a crash right near the Smithfield Road exit. You can see the delays stretching all the way back, all the way past near the Nightdale Boulevard. So if that's your morning commute, you're coming in from Zebulon this morning, you definitely want to take the Nightdale Boulevard or Highway 64 as an alternate route to avoid that major slowdown that we're seeing on I-87. I'll have another update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
And it's definitely a chilly start. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s right now. Durham and Raleigh at 39, Fayetteville's at 40. Lots of sunshine. It's beautiful out here on the patio, but definitely happy to have my coat on. And I think this guy is on his walk too. He's got a sweater on. Our temperatures warm up nicely though into the mid-60s this afternoon. We have a chance for rain after midnight tonight.
Today, Border Patrol expected to begin operations in Raleigh. This comes after more than 130 people were detained in roundups in Charlotte over the weekend. Mayor Cowell said federal agents have not informed Raleigh officials of their plans. And tonight, Wake school leaders will make a final decision on the district budget. The new spending plan could save more than $13 million, but increased costs for next school year equal about the same amount. Teacher raises are not included because there is no state budget. Next on Fox 50, a Durham mom in court, what we know about her 4-year-old's condition after he accidentally shot himself. And coming up on Today, a look at the legacy of Hollywood legend Dick Van Dyke as he turns 100 years old.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news takes us to I-87 in the southbound lanes that crashed near the Smithfield Road exit. You can see 2 lanes are blocked, causing quite a bit of delay. I'll tell you how to get around this mess.
And Border Patrol in Raleigh. After more than 100 arrests in Charlotte, federal officials expected to begin operations here today. What city leaders want you to know before they start?
Our temperatures this morning dipped down to near freezing, but we have more warm air that's just to our west. I'll show you when our highs climb back into the 70s again.
A Durham mom arrested her 4-year-old son in the hospital after accidentally shooting himself. Now that mom facing charges. What we're working to learn about his condition ahead of his mom's court appearance. So much to get to here at 8:30. We're glad you're with us. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yes, but before we get to all of that, we have to get back outside. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner on the WRAL weather patio with her jacket on. It's a chilly start out there, but it's going to be nice this afternoon.
It really is. We had a nice afternoon yesterday. It's going to be nice again like that. It's just our temperatures really dropped this morning. It's beautiful in the gardens right behind me. Plenty of sunshine, 39 degrees officially. And our winds are light at the airport. There's a hint of a breeze moving around out here this morning. You don't want to do any outdoor burning. Again, we do have high fire danger in some of our western counties. And no matter what, it's really dry out there and fires will spread quickly. It's 36 in Roxborough, 40 in Fayetteville, 39 Southern Pines, 36 in Rocky Mount. Temperatures starting to warm up a little bit because really we had widespread temperatures near freezing. Mid-60s this afternoon, and then temperatures begin to drop. Skies will cloud up, and overnight, starting at around midnight, we have a chance of showers that could last into the very early part of the morning commute. So we'll go over that. Also, 9 days until Thanksgiving. We're monitoring the trends for precipitation and for temperatures, and of course, tracking when we could see high temperatures warming way above normal.
And we're going to get back to that breaking news on I-87. This crash right near the Smithfield Road exit. You can see the huge delays it's causing. Of course, 2 lanes are blocked as first responders continue to work that scene this morning. So as we look at a live traffic map this morning, you can see the huge delays it's causing almost all the way back to Knightdale Boulevard. Right now, you're looking at a 46-minute delay. So you're just getting into the car, heading into the Raleigh-Durham area from Zebulon. You might want to take Knightdale Boulevard as an alternate route to avoid what's happening there on I-87. A little bit closer to Raleigh, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. That's the southern loop of the Beltline. Traffic has definitely eased up quite a bit on that southern loop. So that's really good news for those of you navigating that area. There you see that 47-minute delay coming in on I-87. Remember to take Knightdale Boulevard as an alternate route. The other troubled spot is right here coming in from Wake Forest. We're looking at an 8-minute delay. We're seeing a little bit of congestion building on I-40 eastbound, around the I-540, I-40 interchange. That's why you're seeing a 5-minute delay this morning coming into the Raleigh-Wake County area. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. Developing right now, we are expecting Border Patrol agents to be on the ground in Raleigh today. And this all comes after more than 100 arrests over the weekend in Charlotte. This is video here. Agents have been reported everywhere from golf courses to construction sites. And this video here from 2 Border Patrol agents questioning landscapers in Charlotte. The agents left after actually being confronted by the homeowners.
Well, Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell, Michelle, says federal agents have not made it clear who they are targeting here in our area. WRAL's Laura Levine is in downtown Raleigh this morning to report on why people are worried about what could happen during this operation.
Custom and Border Protection now has its sights set on Raleigh as operations begin today here in the capital city. This comes after operations began in Charlotte over the weekend, where more than 130 people were detained. Immigration advocacy group says that families are now working to make preparations to prepare their children for the possibility of parents not returning home from work today and businesses deciding whether or not to open their doors. Mayor Janet Cowell said city officials didn't request help from the federal immigration agents and aren't a part of their operations. Federal agents haven't informed Raleigh officials who they're targeting or when they expect to complete their operations here. We spoke with the executive director of Equality NC, who says innocent people are being targeted in these immigration crackdowns.
We're looking at the rhetoric that we're going after these violent criminals who are undocumented, but what we're seeing is people being stopped for simply looking like they're immigrants, for doing a job.
And the mayor says RPD is not a part of the operations. They are anticipating potential protests like the one that you see here from over the weekend in downtown Raleigh. And officers will be preparing for that while doing their regular work across the city. The North Carolina Republican Party is welcoming the news. GOP spokesperson Matt Mercer shared this statement stating President Trump promised voters his administration would remove violent illegal criminals from our country, and he is following through and enforcing the law. The Department of Homeland Security said of the people who were arrested in Charlotte over the weekend, 44 had violent criminal records. We will continue to follow the impacts of this immigration crackdown here in our city. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And Durham Mayor Leo Williams was a guest on Morning Joe on MS Now, formerly known as MSNBC. He reaffirmed that Durham is a city of immigrants and that he and other city leaders will support them.
We will work to continue to promote our strategic communications with our organizations that are advocating around keeping our communities safe, and the government will do their part We aren't trying to antagonize. We understand the jurisdiction here, but Durham is a welcoming city for all.
And Williams echoed many of the statements that he made during a city council meeting last night, saying that immigrant communities are essential parts of Durham and North Carolina. He said he's been in communication with Governor Stein and other mayors across the state as well.
Also over in Charlotte, Michelle, the Mecklenburg County Sheriff says he's not sure when Border Patrol agents will be leaving there. At a city council meeting yesterday, Councilman James Mitchell Jr. said that he's concerned as well.
I just feel helpless. I wish we had more guidelines, more authority.
Republicans from that area had a different tone. The Mecklenburg County GOP Chairman Kyle Kirby issued a statement that reads in part, Border Patrol is in Charlotte for one reason. The need is real. Had Democratic leadership done a better job protecting the people of this city in the first place, would we even be having this conversation now?
Ken, I got 3 different Border Patrol updates for you this morning. Let's start with Durham Mayor Leo Williams. I messaged him just a little bit ago asking him after he was on MS Now, is Border Patrol coming to Durham too? And he says, quote, no, not as of now, but we are preparing as such just in case. So we'll be checking in to see if that changes. The second update I want to tell you about is from Siembra NC. They are an immigrant advocacy group that released a press release not long ago about Border Patrol's operations in North Carolina. They say that Border Patrol agents have continued to, quote, follow, harass, and detain people. The post you're seeing right here is on Facebook. And essentially, it looks like they're kind of keeping up to speed with where Border Patrol agents are going. They say that they are leaving for operations from their headquarters in Charlotte. That was around 7:35 this morning. They're saying many fewer cars are there, but they're likely headed to Raleigh, which we have been reporting about. Lastly, another thing that we're looking at here over in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, just want to show you this video here, a live feed, in fact, of what's going on. There is a school-wide walkout that is slated to happen at East Mecklenburg High School today, and this is planned as a way to form a protest of Border Patrol being in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And we first alerted you about Border Patrol coming to Raleigh as soon as we confirmed it. Make sure you download the WRAL News app so you can be the first to know information that we learn. And we will, of course, continue to follow this story throughout the day. Look for live reports and coverage from our evening news team starting at 4. Very soon, a Durham mother facing charges after her 4-year-old accidentally shot himself is expected in court. At last check, that boy is still in serious condition in the hospital. WRAL's Ali Calabar live at the Durham County Courthouse. Ali, this is the second 4-year-old to shoot themselves with an unsecured weapon in just 2 weeks.
And Michelle, the second person in the past 2 weeks going before a judge here at this courthouse facing the same charge, permitting a child use to a firearm. Asante Moore is also being charged with negligent child abuse. Her court appearance comes about 24 hours after her 4-year-old son shot himself with an unsecured gun. Court documents say that he used a 10-millimeter pistol. Police say that he was seriously hurt, and neighbors say that they're heartbroken, adding that this was all preventable.
If you must use a gun, please use the proper precautions. Store and protect your weapons. Lock them up and secure them.
And we have reached out to Durham police on an update of the 4-year-old's condition. Moore is set to be in court within the next few minutes at 8:45. WRAL will be there. Reporting live in Durham, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
We want to remind you about the WRAL documentary Unsafe, taking a look at the impact of gun violence on children. WRAL documentary reporter Kristen Severance talked with families whose lives were forever changed because of unsecured weapons. You can watch Unsafe right now on WRAL.com. Search documentary. Happening today, Wake County school leaders are deciding on millions of dollars in budget changes. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the Wake County School headquarters in Cary this morning, and she's reporting on what the lack of a state budget could impact teacher raises in this new budget.
We've been staying on top of what's happening with this budget for months now. Tonight, Wake school leaders will be meeting here at the board headquarters in Cary to make their final decision. The district can save more than $13 million with this new budget, but increased costs for next school year equal about the same amount, so it all levels out. This budget does not make any sweeping changes. It's an effort to maintain what the district already has in place. That means you shouldn't notice any differences in what's happening in your child's school. Some money will be used for utility costs and academic support. One thing to note that's not included are teacher raises. That's because the district was planning on using state funds to cover the cost, and state lawmakers have not passed a budget yet. We'll be sure to keep you updated on school leaders' final vote tonight. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
And happening today, we could learn if an RTP startup focused on rare earth magnets may be expanding in Johnston County. Vulcan Elements has been looking at sites across the country, and sources tell WRAL's NC Capital team the company could announce its final decision as soon as today. State and county economic development officials are considering incentives for a manufacturer at the Cross Point Logistics Center. That's near Benson. They've declined to identify the company. Vulcan got a funding boost from the federal government this past month, part of a $1.4 billion financing deal with the Pentagon and U.S. Commerce Department to boost domestic magnet production. Governor Josh Stein expected to make an economic development announcement at Cross Point tomorrow.
You want to stay on top of that breaking news on I-87, those southbound lanes that crashed near the Smithfield Road exit. You can see the huge delays it's causing as a result of 2 lanes being blocked. We'll let you know how to get around that coming back.
Also still to come, shipping costs are rising. Before you send your next package, the Postal Service is bumping up several rates. We'll break down what is going up.
And heading to break, I want to take you outside on this cold, rather frosty morning as we take a live look at the legislative building this morning. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner showing us when temperatures could climb into the 70s.
.46, it's beautiful out here on the patio. I'm loving the pumpkins out here keeping me company, which of course leads us to, oh my goodness, it's 9 days until Thanksgiving. Wow. So already we're starting to watch trends, but really anything past 7 days gets tricky. The system that we're watching that could affect us for Thanksgiving hasn't even developed yet. So let's start with temperature. It does look like there's a good chance that we'll have warm temperatures on Thanksgiving, but there's cold air behind it. And you can see that in blue. Some of that could swing on in during the weekend of Thanksgiving, and we'll check our chance for showers. So this is just a trend. We're trending somewhere between normal and maybe a little bit wetter than normal. But when we take a look at some of the long range models, there is a system that could arrive either Wednesday or Thursday. So that's something that we're watching, and we'll keep tracking it as we get closer to Thanksgiving.
Elizabeth, we're staying on top of the breaking news out on I-87 in the southbound lanes. You see a fire truck just left. You can see 1 lane is now closed. 2 lanes were closed as a result of this crash. You can see the huge delays it's causing there on I-87 in those southbound lanes. Right now, you're looking at a 40-minute delay. So if you're coming in from Zebulon this morning, your best bet will be to take Knightdale Boulevard as an alternate route to avoid what's happening there on I-87 in those southbound lanes.
All right, thank you, Ken. Today, House leaders expected to vote on a resolution that would force the release of the Jeffrey Epstein case files. President Donald Trump, who was against the release of the files for months, started encouraging it. He said, quote, he has nothing to hide. The president is now calling on House Republicans to support the documents release. The vote on the Democrat-backed resolution bill will take place later today. It requires a 2/3 vote of the chamber to pass.
Thanksgiving is already next week. Look at this. 8 days, a little more than 15 hours away. Before you start your cooking, though, health experts say a safe meal starts days ahead at the store. NC State Food Safety Specialist Ellen Schumacher says most fruits and veggies are fine for buying now, but you should try to avoid buying any fresh leafy greens until next week. Also, your desserts can be kept at room temperature. Preparing them a day or 2 in advance can cut down on cross-contamination risks.
What utensils are you using for raw products, and what utensils are you using for your fresh fruits, your fresh salads, and things like cutting bread? Making sure that those things are staying separate.
Schumacher says it's also good to bring your own thermometer to when you head to the grocery store for supplies. The built-in pop-up thermometer on turkeys aren't always accurate, and you should have a more reliable option at home.
And speaking of Thanksgiving, Ken, you may want to think about cleaning your oven before you put all those yummy dishes inside it to cook. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares some important cleaning reminders and why the tempting self-clean cycle may not always be the best option.
Oh man, it is that time of year between boiling, broiling, and baking. Experts in Consumer Reports Range Lab also put every oven's self-clean cycle to the test. They rated how a tough baked-on mixture of tapioca, cheese, lard, and cherry pie filling can be wiped away after the self-clean cycle. Most ovens passed the test, but Consumer Reports editor Paul Hope says people still wonder about the safety of the self-cleaning cycle.
It's easy to find a lot of horror stories online about people who say they've damaged or destroyed their ovens by running the self-clean cycle. Our testing finds that the self-clean cycle is generally safe to use and pretty effective.
CR says those high temperatures that help you clean your oven also produce smoke and fumes, so you'll want to take a few precautions. First, keep kids and pets out of the kitchen when you can, and definitely do it when you're running the self-clean cycle. If you have a range hood, turn it on and open some windows. And remember, the top of the stove can get pretty hot, so keep it clear. And just because it's self-clean does not mean you're totally off the hook. You'll still need to remove the racks and clean those by hand. You'll also need to wipe down the oven after the cycle to remove the ash buildup. Here's one final piece of advice.
Best approach is to keep your oven as clean as you can while you're using it, wiping spills up as they occur, and cleaning up grease after you cook something fatty like a chicken or a roast.
Another thing to keep in mind is that the oven door locks for the entire clean cycle, which can take up to 5 hours. So plan accordingly, and happy cooking. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
It'll soon cost you more to ship packages through USPS. The Postal Service announced they're raising prices starting next year. The agency says the changes in prices will include Priority Mail Service Express Service, USPS Ground Advantage, and also Parcel Select. The price hikes are set to take effect on January 18th.
Well, this is not going to cost you a thing. Just your eyes on the television set so you can check out the forecast. Let's get outside to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio. What a beautiful morning shaping up, Elizabeth.
It really is gorgeous out here right now. It is chilly, but in a nice warm jacket, it feels great out here. We take a live look at the gardens. Lots of sunshine, all the pretty pumpkins out here. It's 39 degrees. We did start this morning with low 30s in many places, but we're starting to see those temperatures creeping up a little bit. We'll climb all the way up into the mid 60s this afternoon. We do have high brush fire risk mainly in our western counties, but really anywhere. It's so dry, and if we have even just a little bit of a breeze that blows, those fires could spread really quickly. So if you can avoid outdoor burning today, you should. 39 in Southern Pines. It's still 36 in Rocky Mount, but we're 41 in Roxborough, 40 degrees in Fayetteville. So see those temperatures creeping up. It's still 35 in Cary, 33 in Durham, but 44 in Fuquay-Varina and 43 in Knightdale right now. 24-hour temperature change still in some places around 5 to 10 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. And our normal low is 39. Well, tomorrow morning will be much warmer than that, looking at 50s all the way through Friday morning and then 60 on Saturday morning for the Raleigh Christmas Parade. But there could be some rain in our forecast. If we see any on Saturday morning, it looks like it would be fairly light. This afternoon, mid 60s in Raleigh and Durham and 68 degrees in Fayetteville. We do have our next weather maker that's sliding eastward. That's going to bring us some rain overnight tonight, starting at around midnight and ending at around 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't think it'll be a big issue for the morning commute, but for a lot of us, as we head out the door tomorrow morning, the streets will be wet. 73 for tomorrow. Looking at a really nice warm afternoon, 70 on Thursday. That warm front lifts to the north of us and we keep warming. So 75 on Friday and 77 on Saturday. We could tie a record high for Saturday for the Christmas parade, but that cold front you saw could also bring us some storms later in the day. Parade time, temperatures will be in the low 60s, but again, we could see a brief shower in the morning. As we get closer to Saturday, we'll have more runs of the computer models. We'll be fine tuning it. We're also excited about Thursday. Festival of Lights in Durham begins.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Before we go to break, here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic coming up next.